Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living's Los Angeles Sunday service. My name is Todd Alsop. I'm your special musical guest for this week. The theme of today's service is Simply the Best, and I couldn't think of a better song to start off with. I call you when I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wide. And you come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means, yeah. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong now, baby. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met. And I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart, yeah, yeah. You know that I would rather be dead. In your heart, I see the start of every night and every day. In your eyes, I get lost, I get washed away. Just as long as you're here in my arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone, anyone I ever met. And I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart, yeah, yeah. You know that I would rather be dead. It's time you leave me, I start losing control. You're walking away with my heart and my soul, yeah, yeah. I can feel you even when I'm alone. Oh, baby, don't let go. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone, anyone I ever met. And I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart. Will you know that I would rather be dead?
You are indeed simply the best, Todd. Also, good morning
Thank you.
to you.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you for. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Life is good here in
Good.
Provincetown. I understand a lot of you folks over on the West Coast are sheltering in place, and I hope you're all safe. And I'm sending you, lots of safe energy and love.
Thank you. We are indeed having a most unique weather day here in Southern California on this day, August 20th in the year 2023. And having you in the house, the virtual house, is a wonderful experience and also a reminder that geography has no bounds when it comes to us connecting for an opportunity to engage in our spiritual oneness.
Isn't
And
that a lovely thing?
that weather is just an outpicturing of spirit in action. So I look forward to sharing this time with you, and thank you for your well wishes for all of us as we stay safe in this environment as Spirit does its thing, unfolding through us and as us.
Yep.
So you have some wonderful music for us planned, so I look forward to sharing
Yes,
that
I
with
do.
you in a bit. So thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Keith.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and I welcome you into our spiritual virtual home as we come together on this date, as I said, August 20th in the year 2023. No matter where you are, let's all affirm and know together that we are the perfection and the wholeness and the completeness of the divine itself. That just where we are, God is. And that there is nothing externally that can impact that. And we have imbued within us the wisdom and the power and the presence to guide us to any actions that we may need to take to further our awareness and our human safety. Our divine within us is here to guide us if we were to but tune into it and say yes to it. So I welcome you today and I honor you for being here, opening up to a greater experience of the divine just as you are, because just as you are is the totality and the wholeness of the divine itself. As Todd stated, our theme for the month is Simply the Best. The song that he just shared with us is a well-known song by the one and only the great Tina Turner, and as this month has unfolded I've listened to the lyrics of it more and more and more and know the story of the video with it of how she wanted to be on a horse riding through the expanses of the universe for the purpose of inspiring people that they can indeed further and better themselves as expressions of life itself. She was a great example of that, and let's let that be an example for each and every one of us as we move through the unfolding of life, move through the unfolding of the days, and move through the unfolding of the moment by moment that we get the great opportunity and pleasure to express spirit on this human plane. So I welcome you and honor you no matter where you are today, whether you're joining us live through Zoom or through YouTube, or at a later date you're watching and experiencing this video, wherever you may be, knowing that it is the perfect and right time for us to honor the best that is within us and to express our light, the light of the divine. I'm going to place on the screen some slides to bring us into our welcoming environment for the morning. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And our statement, our vision statement, is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I invite us all, as I do each and every time we gather together, to tap into our spiritual awakening, an awareness of the oneness, of the presence, of the power of the only thing there is, and to let that ruminate and resonate through us, and in so doing, provide a space in our consciousness so that we may feel and know that we're more empowered than ever before. We say good morning to each other by opening up to the light of the divine. This great animated graphic on the screen is an act of namaste. It is the honoring of that great Sanskrit word which means I bow to thee, with the intention set by each and every one of us to bow to the thee that exists within each and every one of us, no matter where we are on the journey of our life, and no matter where we are physically as we walk the plane of humanity on this great place we call home, Earth. And so I invite us all to put our hands together in prayer position, take a deep breath in, allow the light of the divine to become more in tune with our nature. And as we feel it, we express ourselves through the exhalation as seen on the screen and share that light that is within. Good morning to each and every one of us, whether or not it's morning according to the clock. Let's let the morning be the metaphysical example of the internal experience of starting anew, welcoming in the light of the day. As a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities, for we stand with you both literally when we are together and with you as we navigate life itself and navigate the physical world of that reality, while as well we stand together with you metaphorically. As I look at this great collaboration of expressions of life on the screen, it reminds me that this past week the Parliament of World Religions came together in Chicago, Illinois, to, as it does every 4 years, to bring together all faiths, all expressions of life, all sentient beings that honor the great I Am. And in those times of gathering which I've experienced at that parliament, it's the great blessing to get to experience so many different individualized expressions of the divine, but also the collectiveness of philosophies and faiths and way of lives and spiritual practices. Today, let's heighten our awareness of honoring life itself and all of its incarnations and its philosophy, faiths, and way of life, and affirm together, knowing that our words have power. We welcome one, and indeed, we welcome all. As a community, we come together to practice and teach and engage in the science of mind primarily, but other new thought religions, spiritualities, ways of being, philosophies, with a core concept of there's only one activity unfolding in life. We call it God, but you can call it anything that you like. Its core principles is that there's only one thing taking place, one force of life itself. Now, we individualize that force, and it appears oftentimes to be contradictory forces, but it's just the one force that is expressing itself as life, and we experience it both in that good or bad or positive or negative to the degree that we are tuned into it, and know that others express their own personal divinity in ways that may or may not be propagating good on this planet. But as we tune into an understanding and acceptance of the power of the divine is imbued within us as life itself, and it's includes the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, that as we allow those to be more present in our awareness of life, that we have before us the opportunity to practice tuning in to the thing itself, those qualities, and choose to not only live life in a way that we know who we are, but have an opportunity to express it in a new way. And so let's you and I continue to do that today in a way that is indeed good, begetting good. I'm putting on the screen right now I'm sorry, my computer just had a moment with what I'm seeing on the screen. And so as we continue, not only do we practice this philosophy, faith, and way of life, but we hold the vision that we as human expressions support individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. We shall move into our ritual called Calling in the Light. I invite us all to open up to the light of the divine in a new way today. For those of us that are on the southwestern part of the U.S., we're experiencing this storm, has been stated before. And as I look out through the windows of my room, my office that I'm in, my home, and see the changing of the light, it's a reminder to me that light is this one constant source, but yet it's changing and our perception of it changes. And so the light that we speak of in this moment is the light of the divine. And we call that in this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence. It's that which we call spirit. And so the purpose of this ritual right now is to draw into our gathering a more conscious awareness of our oneness and a remembrance that the light of the divine exists in and as all sentient beings. And so this light, the quality of the divine that we draw into our awareness into this gathering this morning, we do so as a remembrance of its presence. And let's choose today to use our light to guide us, to illuminate our pathway of life itself. Looking at the candles on the screen, let's look at this quality of light. L, the first letter in light, stands for light itself. Dr. Ernest Holmes says that in flashes of illuminations, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and have brought back with them a distinct impression of what they've seen and felt. You and I have before us the opportunity with each breath to allow ourselves to tap into a glimpse of this reality and then to have our being flooded with light. I, in the word light, stands for illumination. In the book The Science of Mind, illumination is defined as this: inspiration reaching a cosmic state and a direct contact with the divine. The next letter is G, which stands for God, which is synonymous with love and wisdom and intelligence, source, the first cause, the principle which is dependable, and the absolute. The H stands for healing. In metaphysical terms, healing is a mental activity, which means mind healing. It means to reveal the wholeness that already exists within us. T, in the letter light, stands for truth. In this way of engaging in life through a spiritual awakening and awareness, truth is defined as that which is. It's the reason, the cause, and the power in and through everything. It's birthless, it's deathless, it's changeless, and it's perfection, and it's wholeness. We bring all of those together and look at this screen of candles that are lit, each an individualized flickering of the flame, and yet they all represent the whole. Each one has the capacity and the ability to light the other. Obviously, a metaphor for what you and I have the ability to do with life itself, to ignite the light not only within, but to honor that within each other. In the vein of healing, let's call these candles the healing candles. And let's think of anyone, including ourselves, that we would like to put into the light of the healing flame. Let's include all that may be affected by the storm as it's moved up the coast of California, as well as the fires in the northwestern part of Canada, and anyone in any part of the world that's impacted by that which appears to be less than the divine. Light. And let's call this healing light the holy light. To remember that each one of us is holy light. And let's say together, I am holy light. I am one with God. Todd's going to come on the screen now and take us through our song for this ritual called Calling in the Light. I invite you to sing along and
calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. You sing with me. I am love, I am peace in my heart. I am free, I am spirit, I am soul. All together we are all calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. 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 And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.
Sorry about that, everyone. My computer has frozen again and then kicked me out. So I'm going to join from here and just give me just a second.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
Can you hear me, Todd? Can you hear me? Okay,
I can hear you fine, yeah.
We'll be right back up in just a moment. So
I'm just going to make some pretty sounds while Keith comes back on.
so interesting how we were all concerned that it would be technology through electricity, through the storms that would affect us. And yet we made the decision early on in today that we would let ourselves just go easy with what unfolds and let it be easy peasy. And so that's what's happening. Right. So rolling in the deep, I believe is what Adele would tell us, right, Todd?
Rolling in that deep. That's right. Yes.
Rolling in the deep. I love it. So you have another song for us.
I do indeed. Yes.
So share with us what is the name of that song?
It's a beautiful R&B song called Number One Hit. And you told me the theme today was simply the best. And it was the first song that I thought of that it's sort of like, it's this song that's just sort of like, you are the best thing that, you know, either I ever created or I ever came into my life or I ever manifested into my life. Shall I do it? I don't hear you, Keith. I'm going to go ahead and sing it.
Go ahead.
Okay. This tune's called Number One Hit. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's do it. Baby, you are the song of my life. I think that maybe we had an adjustment. I'm just going to fix something real quick. Sorry. It looks like maybe my inputs changed too. Sure. So, hey, Travis, can you give me a thumbs up that everything's coming through the way that it should?
Sounds good here.
I have a thumbs up. Cool, great. I'm going to start this one more time, you guys. We're rolling in the deep. We're rolling with the punches. Here we go. Baby, you are the song of my life and the sweetest melody, and I love making love to your eyes. It's like singing in the perfect key. You are my number one hit. 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 You are, you're my number one. Oh yeah, yeah. I got a studio up in heaven, and it's the perfect atmosphere. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's guaranteed to take you platinum. All you gotta do is come here and let me make you my number one hit. My number one hit. Yeah, I'm my number one hit. See, top of the charts, baby. Number one, yeah. You are my number one hit. The way you put your music on me, symphony should be your name. It's like God gave the perfect anthem when He sent Sean out my way. You're my number one hit. Yeah. You're my number one hit. You're my number one hit. You're my number one hit. Baby, you know that you are my number one. Yeah, my number one. Ooh, my number one hit. New York to LA, then France on to Rome. LA hit Vegas, then dance our way home. Our music plays all around the world, and my life has been a smash since you became my number one hit. You are my number one hit, yeah. My number one, yeah. Blew up, I love you. Blew up, I love you. Yeah. Blew up, I love you. Blew up, blew up, blew up, blew up, yeah, yeah, yeah. My number one, yeah, my number one. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. You're my heart and my soul. We went way past gold. Talking platinum, platinum, platinum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, my number one hit, my number one hit, my number one hit. Yeah, 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 yeah. My number one hit. Yeah, my number one hit. You are my number one hit. Yeah.
We still don't hear you, Keith.
Is that better? Did that do it?
There you
Lord have mercy. I was saying, Todd, that song is so lovely and inspirational. And
Thank you.
who wrote who did that originally?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. Got it. Interesting. So just goes to show you life and love expresses in all different forms and fashion. So, but what a beautiful, it's so beautiful and so inspirational of the tying in of simply the best and life itself and light and the number one within. So I know you've got another incredible song planned for us later. So
I do. I'll be
thank
back.
you. Mute yourself, turn your AC on, and
Thank you.
and enjoy the coolness. So it is. So thank you all for being here, and what a great example we're living through today of technology and connection and songs and surprises and the unfolding of life. Right? It's really something that every single one of us has before us each day is to tap into what's going on in life and to ask ourselves, who do we know ourselves to be? What do we desire to express here? And how do we want our consciousness to express in life? And are we willing to engage in this teaching, philosophy, faith, way of life deeper and deeper and deeper? Last week I was very internally provoked in a good way when Jamie Lula was telling us about the individuals at Asilomar the week before that were asking, what would Ernest Holmes write and say today if he were writing and saying today? And I watched that message that was given there by Reverend Rainbow Weldon. And it just what it did for me, and I'm going to address that throughout my message this morning, is it reminded me that it doesn't really matter what he would write today, and as much as obviously he would write something different, but what matters is how do we interpret what he has written, not just him, but all things that are written today, and are we interpreting that through an evolving consciousness? Or are we hanging on to old ideas? And so let's begin our message. I do have slides for us for this morning, and let's begin and look at this through the lens of light. I've really been thinking this week a lot about consciousness and the evolution of consciousness, and tending to that which was while also being open to that which is and what can be, and the revelation, the revealing of consciousness from within. The graphic on the screen is one that I love, because what appears to be particles of light moving through the darkness is a reminder to each of us of the eternal energy that is happening around us, forever changing and transforming and expressing, while at the same time all coming from the same source. It is that which is within us that we each and every Sunday talk about as calling in the light. We do that not so much as through the act of calling in that is beyond us, but that which is everywhere. It's omnipresent and it's omniscient, meaning it's all-knowing. And so you and I have the opportunity, as we navigate life itself, to let that all-knowingness make itself known to us in new ways, and then to feel what is right for us and to tune into that and then move on. The calling in the light is really an awakening, if you will, of that which is within us, but to also understand where to shine that light, to share it, to let it be. Light. What does light represent spiritually? Well, it is certainly one of the most universal and fundamental symbols. It's the spiritual and the divine. It's illumination and intelligence. Light is the sort of goodness and the ultimate reality, and it accompanies transcendence into the nirvana of Buddhist doctrine. Even in the map of consciousness, there is a concept of transcendence. It's the Bible. Jesus transcends the physical realm here. Transcendence is what's called forth for each and every one of us, meaning to transcend that which is, to move beyond the circumstances and conditions of what's unfolding in life, to transcend, to rise above that which was into that which is, and doing our part to call into that which is to be, an expression of where we are as an evolving being of awareness. Well, what does it mean when someone says you are light? It may mean, and may be a call to each of us to give of ourselves in a new way to a situation or cause or relationship that we're in. It also may mean to simply just be still and show that nothing really needs to be said at a given time until the time is right. Just this week in my counseling sessions, we've been talking about that act of stillness, of listening, of being present. If you are in the Los Angeles or Southern California area right now, it's been acknowledged, and right now in this very moment there's stillness taking place outside, and we know that that stillness is the calm before the storm. Doesn't make one better or worse. It's just feeling the presence of what is about to transform energetically as a result of this calmness. To be the light, to express the light, is to foster peace, that internal quality of the divine that we're each imbued with, and then to show others the joy that is present within us. As stated earlier, Holmes says that in flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and brought back with them a distinct impression of what they've seen and felt. I just tuned into that very center of reality as the same as the very center of the storm where that calmness exists, knowing that we must move beyond that experience of the calmness in life, as we must disrupt what's going on within us, and we will move into that which seems the opposite of calm, but yet it's important to take with them, as Holmes says here, a distinct impression of what we've seen and felt, a glimpse of a reality of the divinity that is within us. And as we do so, it illumines the whole being with a flood of light, meaning not just us as a whole being, but the wholeness of being itself. It goes on to say that every mystic has had this experience. This is spoken of in the foreword to The Science of Mind that's written by Jean Houston in its most recent incarnation. We hear it every year when we address the first four chapters of the book, and the first 4 Sundays of January. It says the science of mind, this teaching that we all tune into and are attuned with, offers us the passion for a new possibility, along with the precise and clear directions for building a new matrix of mind and manifestation. The science of mind shows us how to activate the constructive imagination and how to hold in thought and feeling the intention and energy for healing, holing, W-H-O-L-I-N-G, and co-creating. Hear this as if it's the first time you've heard it. The science of mind offers us the passion for a new possibility along with the precise and clear directions for building a new matrix of mind and manifestation. The science of mind shows us how to activate the constructive imagination and how to hold in thought and feeling the intention and energy for healing, holing, and co-creation. Evolution is seen to follow involution, wherein we discover that our minds are stargates, our bodies celled of mysteries that give us the keys to the emerging phase of our existence. Are you willing to think of yourself today as an emerging being? That you are emerging into a new phase of your existence in life. Ernest Holmes, Houston writes, the author and founder of The Science of Mind, was one of the first to direct us to what is to be found in the vast ecology of inner space. Think about the vast ecology of inner space. We speak of our vision statement as the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Moving inward into that vast ecology of inner space is indeed providing us with an opportunity for a spiritual awakening. And then a spiritual awakening. And then a spiritual awakening. It is that moment in the center of reality where we become illumined with the reality of being, Holmes calls it. It's by tapping into that which is perfect and whole and complete. As I've shared with you before, these 3 words used to be triggers for me in this teaching. And yet at the same time I understood them. And then I evolved into a greater understanding of them. And today I feel as if I've evolved, as I know each and every one of you have as well, into not only a greater understanding and acceptance of the perfection, the wholeness, and the completeness that exists as the divine, but exist as you and as me. And then as we let go of anything in our being, moment by moment by moment, that isn't a reflection of that, then we allow ourselves to experience and then express more and more and more of it. The great Louise Hay, the 20th century, late 20th century teacher of the science of mind, and taught and created a healing modality across our world when it was so needed in the 80s, has this affirmation, and I invite each of you to state it out loud wherever you may be right now with me. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Now let's take a deep breath in and believe that that's true for us as we exhale. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Perfection in this teaching is known as the real state of being, complete so that nothing is wanting. Let's each imagine that as we turn inward to that very center of reality of being, we're tapping into that space within us that not only does it want for nothing, but because we are one with and as it, that is true for us. It is that place within us which is whole. Remember, this teaching is calling us to step into the act of Wholing, W-H-O-L-I-N-G. I know I keep spelling it for us because I think it's important to hear it as it's spelled correctly. When we speak of the whole, we're speaking of God, the divine source. The human's self-knowing mind is their perception of reality. So it's through this channel, our mind, that we get to experience this wholeness of life that exists. Completeness is defined as anything could stop at any moment and be complete, meaning it's that returning inward that Hawkins is referring to as stopping the engagement of the external and turn inward and honor that which is within each and every one of us. Although many of us hear the call of this inner desire and dreams, it's often difficult to find a path forward to our own awakening. Learning to explore deeply is the key to opening to the ultimate possibility of your life. Your internal awakening opens the door to a truly unimaginable possibility. When one learns to explore deeply and commits to that journey, your true power and gifts begin to reveal themselves, and the meaning in and of life is revealed. I know for each and every one of us, we've had that experience before in life and are open to it now and desire for it to be more and more. The way for us to do that is to be willing to turn inward and to be still, to be quiet, and to listen. Since I said a moment ago that it was calm outside, now the rain has started and I can hear the rain pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. It's in the stillness that we can even listen to the rain. Dr. Holmes tells us in the article titled "The Place of Stillness" from his papers titled "Ideas of Power," he says, if you ever get to that place of stillness, out of everything comes the uncreated creativity, the creative possibility of the individual out of the uncreated. The voice that was not spoken yet is ready to articulate something new and fresh, a creation that never existed and need never again be. But in the passing movements of our present fancy, the word shall become flesh and dwell among us as long as it ought to, and dissolve when it's no longer necessary. Imagine being in that place of stillness where the emergence of this new phase of our existence begins to take form. Holmes goes on to tell us in this article that which is considered to be quite controversial if you take it at face value, but let's listen to it and then decide what to do with it. He says, you and I, as practitioners, meaning those that practice the teachings of the science of mind and other related New Thought teachings, can throw out all of our theories and all of our books and all of our previous prayers out the window now, because they're ever more about it and about it and about it. They are necessary and they are fine, but now that divine moment has come. Emerson said, when it happens, throw out all of your theories, leave them all as Joseph left his coat in the hands of the harlot, and flee. For this is a transcendent moment. This is the moment of new creation. Are you and I willing today to let go of all that was? Even if we were to listen to the song that was sang, and is the right word, sung or sang, in the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, often called In the Silence. The lyrics are, in the silence there's peace, in the silence there's unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here, in this holy silence, I find God, for I find myself. What I believe both Holmes and these great lyrics by Jack Fowler are telling us is that it's through sitting in the silence and the stillness, the darkness, if you will, where the light begins to emerge and we begin to have that spiritual awakening, not as a one-time and only that time event, not as a finite experience to then guide us as to how we're to live our rest of our life, but to open up to that as an awakening, knowing that there'll be more awakenings and awakenings and awakenings, to a state of evolving and awakening. A spiritual awakening sometimes is not pleasant. It can sometimes feel like confusion and frustration and anger and sadness and grief and being out of place. It can be uncomfortable and challenging because it's an intense time of personal growth. But it's important to remember that as we open up to this expansion of our awareness and expression of that which is, that the light is always there, just as it is on the screen in its multitudes of sparkling ways. And to let light, as we live in God's healing truth, be the guide for us as we navigate that which is in front of us. To allow ourselves to live in and as the light itself. To remember that we're called to be brave and courageous during this time of evolution and growth in our life. Atticus tells us there's nothing so brave in the whole wide world as a candle daring to live on in the wind. Letting the storm that's coming our way and is slowly moving in, let's let that be a metaphor for us in life, to let it be cleansing in whatever way that it's showing up for us, as an expression and an opportunity to have a personal light bulb moment, to open up to letting go of what was and be willing to try on that which can be new, to have spiritual growth as a result of spiritual awakenings. In the blog New Thought Evolutionary by the great Dr. Jim Lockhart, he tells us that the common answer in New Thought circles to the question, and many of us have heard this before, and I invite us to hear it anew today, what is the biggest obstacle to spiritual growth? So often we say myself. I'm the obstacle. I'm the problem. I don't do what I say I want to do. But it goes on to tell us, while that is true, it's also the answer to the question, what's my biggest asset in seeking spiritual growth? Spiritual growth. The self is the vehicle for all development or the lack thereof. So we need to be a bit more specific in answering this question. He goes on to say, I usually respond to the question about the biggest obstacle with comfort is the biggest obstacle. It is our desire to be comfortable that often keeps us in place. Even if we're not happy in our current state of being, comfort is a sense of being minimally challenged. When we face the discomfort of changing, we too often sink into resistance, even though we may realize that growth lies at the other side of the period of discomfort. Just as many join a gym to get more fit and healthy and then resist going, we may set goals for spiritual growth, commit to practices and then resist doing the work. This may take the form of procrastination, evasion, denial, or by doing destructive things such as overeating or drinking too much, as our ego asserts its power to keep us from changing. The resistance comes from a desire for comfort, or a state where we're not challenged or disturbed. When combined with our ignorance and our fear, usually the fear that we're inadequate, seeking comfort alone is especially dangerous to our development. We grow when we're uncomfortable or in a state of divine discontent. The great Ezra Baida says, staying with the discomfort is difficult. The mind keeps darting off to avoid the feelings in the body, primarily by trying to analyze why you feel the way you do. But you keep returning to the breath in these moments at the center of the chest and the physical experience in the body. In other words, returning to that place of stillness, in the silence. being open to that which is new. That very glimpse of a light bulb moment in reality. Lockhart goes on to tell us our mind, body, spirit collective is very skilled at knowing what's best for us and at sending us messages when it's time for a change. But we, on the other hand, tend to be very skilled at ignoring or rationalizing these messages and staying stuck in some less than optimal ways of being. Our ego structure supports us in this, leading us to resist inner urges to change, even for the better. But do we really want to stay as we are? Karen Salmason writes, "What if I told you 10 years from now your life would be exactly the same? Doubt you'd be happy. So why are you afraid of change?" Just last night I was having dinner and I was asked, "What are your goals in 10 years?" And it caught me so off guard. And initially I started to skate answering that question and to move around it. And finally I just peered into the eyes of the individual and asked that question and said, "I don't know the answer to that." And he said, "Well, do you have goals in your life?" I said, "During my 30s and 40s, I had lots of goals and I accomplished them all. And now I believe it's the moment to return to being open to visualizing and visioning and defining what those are for what's ahead." I share that with you this morning so that you and I each may be willing to be open to not only having this light bulb moment, but to just be willing to be open to what we can co-create together in life by living in God's healing truth, by remembering that we're here to have an awakening of oneness, the interconnectedness of all of life itself. Lockhart finishes this portion of the article with, "Whatever your current circumstances, you and I have within us the power to change, to heal, to recover, to express, to engage at greater levels. All significant growth or deepening will be accompanied by discomfort, potentially even pain. Our human psychological structure simply does not allow great change without inner resistance." Today I invite us to embrace this inner resistance by allowing the cosmic consciousness to be present, to be open to the pain as it shows up as a sign to us of our emergence into that which is to be, to remember that what we seek is indeed seeking us. But what we also need in that journey is clarity, is an idea, is some definition, there's some objectivity, some object of experience in life. That may be tangible in the physical world as well, and it also can accompany and include an awakening to the evolutionary process of who we are as divine beings. But it's important that each step, if you will, along the way to embrace both our ego and our essence. The great Barbara Marx Hubbard told us that it's the time that we're being called for as the now to live from our essence, not our ego. But the great Eckhart Tolle tells us that we can't fight the ego along the way. He says you cannot fight against the ego and win, just as you cannot fight against darkness. It's the light of consciousness is all that is necessary. And to remember that you are that light, and I am that light. And that we experience this light of life through our awareness. Today we've been invited and included in an awakening, and then an awakening into the infiniteness of light itself. And we've been each given permission to be open to change, and to be open to know that we are indeed simply the best, and that we're the hit of the divine just as we are. But that is calling for us to not only call in the light, but to call into this state of immersion, an inner awakening, a deepening of thought, and a greater consciousness of oneness, of not just humanity, but life itself. Ryan Jordan tells us that this belief in oneness changes nothing. Living the oneness can change everything. You and I don't necessarily need to experience a quantum leap in our change today, although that's possible, and I affirm it for each and every one of us. But at those small changes that we're willing to engage in. So the question that I have for us, what step can I make today to live in oneness and then let my light shine anew? I invite us all to live in that as we are hunkered down, if you're here in Southern California, in the safety of our homes. And to let this rain, whether it may be sprinkles or torrential, be an example of the energy of life itself that's always there ready to cleanse us. And just as much as this rain may include some pain and discomfort, as the weathercaster said yesterday afternoon, when I, of course, have been glued to the news, as I'm sure many of us have, he says it is a hurricane or a tropical storm, and it will leave its mark, and yet the sun will shine again. Today, you and I have before us the moment. Eckhart tells us that the truth is that the only power there is contained within the moment, and it's the power of your presence. Let's let our presence be the guide as we move into the stillness and know that today is the day and now is the moment to grow, to evolve, to emerge, and to know that it's in the silence there is peace. Let's trust the timing of what's in front of us. Let's stay patient, stay calm, stay determined, and to trust the journey that is before us moment by moment, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, silence by silence. And so it is. And I thank you. Todd's coming back with us to sing his next song.
Zephyr in the sky at night, I wonder, do my tears of mourning sink beneath the sun? She's got herself a universe gone quickly, for the call of thunder threatens everyone. Like I just got home, and I feel like I just got home, and I feel faster than the speeding light. She's flying, trying to remember where it all began. She's got a little piece of heaven, waiting for the time when us shall be as one. And I feel like I just got home, and I feel like I just got home. Zephyr in the sky at night, I wonder, do my tears of mourning sink beneath the sun? She's got herself a little piece of heaven, for the call of thunder threatens everyone. Quicker than a ray of light.
Yes, sirree.
I love that song.
I love that song too, and I love that version of that song.
Thank you. We were gonna do it with the track today, and it wasn't working, and we had a happy accident where we decided
Yeah,
to do it acoustically.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
And I think we should wish a belated happy birthday to Madge.
Happy belated birthday, Miss Madonna. Yes, indeed.
Yes, she turned 65 this week. So good for her.
She doesn't look a day
Did
over.
that
No,
stop
we're not
you
gonna
in
go
your
there. We're not
tracks?
gonna do it.
Did that stop you in your tracks? Pun intended, since we stopped the track. Anyway, Todd, thank you so much for being here today. I know that you are having
Thank
a
you.
just fabulous time in Provincetown. I've seen some of the videos. You said it was going too fast and that you just keep, excuse me, selling out your shows. I'm so proud
Yeah,
of
that
you
feels really, really good. It feels really good.
and so happy for you.
Thank you.
And your post about your history with Varla Jean just touched me so deeply this week.
Yeah.
So it just warms me to know that you have that relationship with
Thank you.
him, her, and
Magical stuff happen. Magical stuff happens here for real. It's really cool.
oh yeah, it has for years, without a
Yeah.
doubt. So, without a doubt. Well, I'm so glad you're there shining your light. So,
Thank you.
thank you for doing that. A big thank you to each and every one of you for being here today and for choosing to tune in here to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And thank you to Travis for taking even greater care of us today in an audio way than ever before. Welcome back to Southern California to Robert Hensley, our video specialist slash social media slash administrative assistant. I'm glad you made it back safely from your road trip into, I believe, Pennsylvania. And stay hunkered down and stay safe. If you'd like to support our community financially, you can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate, as well as you can use the app in the App Store, or you can mail in a check. All that information is on our website. I invite each and every one of you to do so and to support us on our journey. Our next in-person meeting is September 10th at our home at 1200 North La Brea Avenue. I invite you to make plans to be there. We had a wonderful Sunday last Sunday, and we would love to continue that and have more people, which would really be wonderful. Also, I'm going to affirm for each and every one of us that just where you are today is the perfect and right place. Please stay safe, stay in tune, stay connected, and reach out if you need support and help or love and guidance in any way whatsoever. We have a team of practitioners that can help you with that. They're listed on our website as well. I'm going to let Todd close us out with Love is My Decision. But before he does that, I'd like to just state for each and every one of you, I invite you to close your eyes and hear this. The power and the presence of the divine is making itself known by each and every one of us. We are the light of the divine in action. We each give ourselves permission to move into that state of silence, that state of peace, that state of calm. And it's there that we invite in this spark of illumination that begins to light our way, our pathway to that which is calling within us to change without judgment, without attachment, and with the willingness to feel a bit of pain and discomfort. We trust to know that God is indeed guiding us exactly where we need to go. And so it is. Todd's going to take us out on our song, Love is My Decision. Feel free to sing along. After that, we're going to disconnect from YouTube. We'll say au revoir to all of you. And if you're here on Zoom, we'll stay on and say hello to each other. Todd, take it away.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here, right now. Once I decide to change my mind. Source will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision.